right, everyone, and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. We got a great show tonight. We have Tommy Youmans joining us. We're going to dive into talking about Pro Mod and also that beautiful GTO that he has that's Pontiac powered. But before we get into that, we got a few messages, and we'll be right back.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most foolproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at BigStuff3EFI.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
Tommy, I want to thank you for joining us tonight so we can dive in a little bit on Pro Mod and, of course, a sponsor that we share with PDRA, Redline Oil. You know, that's coming up here shortly for y'all, and I know y'all were probably getting ready for the first race of the season there at Galat.
Yeah, we are, and we're really excited about it. You know, we enjoy PDRA racing and everybody that sponsors that program and Redline and all the other people. And it's just such a great racing series. The people there, Tyler and everybody, they do a wonderful job, and we really enjoy it. It's a fun thing, and all the racers there are just like any other racing series, drag racing series. You know, we all help each other, and it's a good family there.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things, you know, a lot of people talk about NHRA. They love the NHRA, and, you know, maybe PDRA is going to be doing an event in their backyard. They need to go to it because this is really great racing. The competition is there, just as competitive at PDRA than it is at NHRA.
I think it's even more competitive. If you look at the numbers in Pro Boost, you know, the field is extremely tight, and, you know, they've got the weights kind of figured out, you know, and each combination and, you know, if you go there, and it's sort of like the thing that Wes Buck did with the Winter Series. If you qualify and make the field there, you've got a car that can win, and it's really tight. I mean, we've actually went home running a 364, you know, and we were kind of disappointed, but then we looked around and Todd Tutterow was going home with us, and other guys were going home with us. And we were like, okay, well, we're going to take our lumps and come back next time and try to go faster.
Right.
Well, before y'all get into PDRA, y'all got to make a trip to Rockingham.
Yes, sir. We got the Radio Outlaw Series coming up, and we'll be there. I think we leave out Tuesday. I think the cars leave out Tuesday, and we'll be there to test on Wednesday. And then I think first round of qualifying starts on Thursday.
Got you. Now you run your late model Camaro. I believe that's the one you run in Pro Boost, correct?
Yes, sir. The new Camaro is running Pro Boost.
Okay. And then you got your infamous, and I say your infamous beautiful orange 70 GTO. I've been an admirer of your car since the time I saw it come across my screen, and that is one absolutely beautiful car. Now, I think if memory serves me right, the really cool aspect about your car, not only is it beautiful and quick, but it's still Pontiac powered, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When I built the car, a guy named Todd Dobson, a local guy here, built the car for me. And, being it's a GTO, it's OEM, quarter panels, roof, rocker panels, A-pillars, everything. And it's 100% true dimensional. And we run a Kaufman billet Pontiac motor that they developed. And it's 100% true dimensional Pontiac motor. It's nothing it's 100% true dimensional. Pontiac guys and all are a little nuts, for that kind of stuff, and you'll get crucified by the Pontiac enthusiast, if you do something a little weird, and we come out with it and we run a cast head that they had developed that was a naturally aspirated head. And so we tried to run it with the turbos and it worked good. And we started going fast with it and it just kept developing problems. The valve train got unstable. And so I went to Jeff and Mark and their dad, Steve, at Kaufman, and we decided we would try to make some billet heads. So they were on board with it. We were getting enough passes in it. The other people were showing interest in the blocks and trying to do that. So it started growing a little bit. So they developed the billet head. And at that time, that's when we switched over to the Proline Hemi. And we switched over to it for just a little while. And I thought they was going to put a hit out on me. The Pontiac people were like ready to just fry me, they were ready. I can't believe you did that, and I'm like, I'm a racer. I want to race. I want to qualify. I want to run fast. I would prefer to have a Pontiac motor. But we finally got everything after the crash in Alabama and the car got hurt and we got the Mustang and we took that power plant, we traded it in and got the new Proline Hemi and we put it in the Mustang. And then I said, I'm going to go back with the Pontiac motor. And Jeff and them had finally got the billet heads done. So we worked on them. And so that's what's been in it ever since the crash. And it's come around. It's gotten really, really stable. It's gotten more dependable, and we're making repetitive, good passes, and it's getting there. And we're trying different stuff as we go, just like any other racer, to push the envelope a little bit further. And the car's got the name Fat Bottom Girl, and she.
I thought I heard somebody say that, but I didn't know if that was given by you or somebody else.
Yeah, no, that was me. That was all me, and it earns it. She earns it, and
good song too.
Yeah, the song and my crew, they come up with the name that she needs a full first name, so they give her Judy for Big Booty Judy, so and so you'll hear her called all different things, but she's probably my favorite, and there's faster cars here, but she does pretty good for a 3,000-pound car,
Yeah.
Well, I tell
you run that one in Pro Street, correct?
Pro Street in PDRA and limited drag radial in the Outlaw Radial series.
Okay. Do you have to change much between the two series?
We have to change a few things, in LDR, we have to run the factory frame rails, and in Pro Street, we do not. So we have factory frame rails that are removable, and it saves us about 16 pounds. We can take about 16 pounds out of it by doing that.
I did not know that.
So there's a few other little minor things. We can only run 88 millimeter turbos in the LDR, but we could actually run 94s in Pro Street. But, if you look at it, the 88 millimeter turbos is what Mark Mickey and Victor and Jay Cox and all those guys are running in Pro Mod. And they make ample enough boost. Of course, Pro Mod's a lot lighter than Judy is, but
right. But I think they got the obviously the latest series because I remember there's been some later generations of turbos that's come out over the past couple of years. So I take it, obviously theirs is the latest series, more efficient.
Yes, sir. And we do too. We running pretty much the same turbo. That car right now, we run Hearts in it before, and we've run some FSI stuff. And Jose and those guys over there have done a great job. And Dustin came to us and he wanted us to try the Hearts and he had sent us some. And so right now the car is just getting finished up, and Rockingham will be the first race that we'll have the Hearts turbos on it.
Okay. Mitchell?
Yeah, I tell you what, it is a beautiful car. You could probably take that to a car show and be able to pick up first place with it with no problem. Just the engineering of it alone is just amazing, and the speeds that y'all are able to get out of it with it weighing 3,000 pounds says that, there's a lot of engineering that goes into making that girl run as fast as she does.
Yes, sir. She's been pretty repetitive in the low 90s, 94, 93s, it'll run 394, 393s. The best mile an hour that it's done here lately, we went 199 like 7 in Georgia. In one of the qualifying rounds, so the mile an hour is really there with the turbo cars. There's nothing like driving a turbo car.
Oh, I can imagine so.
I'm hoping y'all get some really good air in Rockingham. I really do.
We should. And as long as the track's there, we're looking at the temperature, it's going to be kind of cool. So we'll just have to see, The track is in the radial racing is so unforgiving.
Now, how did it all come together? You bringing Lyle over?
Lyle and I, we've known each other for a long time, and Lyle is just one of those exceptional drivers. And Marcus Burke was driving with us and been a great friend forever. And Marcus started up his business, and purchased the business that he was working for and needed to devote a lot of time to that, and so we've got something in the plans that's probably going to happen with Marcus that hadn't showed up yet, but it's getting close. And so when this come about, we talked to Lyle, and Lyle was at the end of his thing with Scott Tidwell, and he was on board with it. And so I think it's a great fit because Lyle and his dad Mark and Nash and Melanie, they're all just like us. They're just good, country people from the South, and we get along and have a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of y'all at some places, and look like y'all are having a good old time calling some people out. It looked like a lot of fun was going on there.
Yeah, and it is. And, we talked about drag racing, and drag racing to me, I've been involved in a little bit of different kinds of racing and stuff, but drag racing to me is probably one of the greatest family sports there is. And we have the opportunity as drag racers, to have fun and bring kids into this environment and bring them into this world, and I pity their mom and their dad and their grandpas, because if a kid comes by my pit and we're getting ready to start a car up, we're going to put him in it, and just introduce them to drag racing. That's my little buddy Tucker right there. And Tucker he's an awesome kid. His dad and his mom, we know them, and they've been coming around for years, and it's just great to have the kids and the families come around, and their interaction. They can actually walk into your pits and everything, even in NHRA level. You don't get to do that in a lot of other forms of motorsports.
Very true.
It's
so true.
It's just great. I think we owe everybody the opportunity to introduce kids to something that's fun and competitive and clean and good for them. Racing teaches them a lot of stuff. It teaches them mathematics. It teaches them science. It teaches them everything. And it teaches them good, hard work ethics.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the best ones is this one.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be disciplined.
Yeah,
and
100%.
and you know, competition and learning from it. You know, learning from it and make yourself better. And because Mitchell and I, we race against each other all the time. And I mean, you know, we're buddies and all that stuff like other friends. But like I said, just like you said, as far as drag racing brings people together and creates families and friends that you have for a lifetime. So you're absolutely right. And I totally agree with you. Mitchell does too, as far as, you know, bringing kids in. Some come through the junior program, but at least just introducing them to the racing. And also we meet a lot of people who's never been to a race before, never been to a track before. Right. And once we get talking to them and sharing with them, then it's really good. Sometimes you see people really get excited about it and they do actually want to come back and try it for themselves.
Yeah.
And, well, you know, one of the things that's great about drag racing, there's so many different classes. You don't have to be a millionaire to be able to drag race. You know, that's the good thing about it. Now, if you want to work your way up that way, that's fine. But if you don't have the funds to do it, you can start out, you know, going to your local test and tune at your local track, and then get involved with ET bracket racing and generally move up the ranks. Right. That suits your pocketbook. And it's still competitive on every level. I know when me and Robert race at each other, I don't know him when he's in the other lane at the lights. He's just someone I'm going to try to, you know, keel on the tree and wave at him at the other end.
Yeah. We'll trash each other. We'll trash each other before or after, you know, but that's
all drag racers. That's drag racers. And, you know, I applaud everybody. You know, some of y'all bracket racers are deadly. I mean, y'all been running them cars for a long time, and you watch these guys, and they'll have a 2,000 or 3,000 package or a 7,000 package and be dead on the light. And I'm like, some people just don't realize how hard that is to do. Right. And y'all, I enjoy all forms of it. You know, I even enjoy every now and then going to watch what we call them big bang boom poppers. You know, them import cars are you know, there's one thing I've always wanted to do. I want to go to World Cup. I want to go watch World Cup. I don't know that I want to go run it, but I want to go watch it. That's some insane racing right there.
I want to go to that, and I want to go to War in the Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, not race in it, but I want to go see it.
Yeah.
A few years ago when Wes Buck had the Door Slammer series down in Orlando, my dad went down with me, and him and my son, they were watching and everything. And I was out there on the wall taking photos and stuff. And my dad goes, "Man, I just can't believe those little 4-cylinders run that fast."
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yes, sir. In a wheelbase that's that long, you know, I mean, just crazy. And I'm with you. I've always wanted to go to World Cup, but the one thing I know that I'll have to have earplugs in is because they got them horns or the kazoos or whatever they call them things that they have them during football overseas and stuff like that. That would drive me nuts. You know, I'd much rather hang out with a junior dragster idling all day than be stuck in between that.
I don't know. Sometimes the junior dragsters get a little annoying too, but
I know. But you see my point.
Yeah, I do. You know, I was watching one time, and there was this guy, and I don't even know what it was. It was just this little bitty short wheelbase car, you know, and he let go of the button, and that thing it went left, and it went right, and it went back left and right, and it almost come looped around a couple of different times, you know, and he gets out down on another interview, and he said, "I almost wrecked that thing," you know. I'm like, okay.
You mean almost?
Almost. You
know, and I mean, yeah, I see some people and they get out and they're like going, "Oh, you know, it's not bad. You know, it stumbled here and there." And I'm like going, the thing carried it to 300, 400 feet before it sat down, and it wasn't going straight in the first place.
No.
You know, I'm like, the wheelie bars are longer than the wheelbase.
Yeah, we had one of those Mitsubishi Evos come out to Gainesville one night, and it had a parachute on the back. You know, some of the old timers, they seen the car and they laughed at it because it had a parachute. Well, boy goes out there, goes around the water box, does his burnout, goes up to the lights. runs down and runs I want to say like a 9:15 in the quarter, and they just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for the guy, by the third or fourth pass, he broke the half shaft
Yeah.
in it.
I remember that night. Yeah, they kind of eat them up, but it's just part of it.
Yeah.
But tell me something, Tommy. Back on your Pontiac before we go to the Camaro. The Pontiac had, what is it, 500 plus inch? What size is the engine?
It's 500 cubic inches. It's 500 cubic inches, and it's a all billet dry deck block. But like I said, it's got a stock Pontiac crank that come from Bryant, and I get them from whoever we can get them from, because Pontiac people, you know, there's just not that many of us out there, so we have to kind of pick and choose wherever we can get parts from and get them. And so it's right now it's got a 4.5 stroke crank in it, and it does pretty good. It makes plenty of power. I think when we dynoed it the first time, we took it to Fuel Tech, and it made 3,600 and something horsepower.
Jeez. Oh my gracious. How hard do you turn it? Like the Pontiacs typically don't turn a lot, but I know yours is a new
we
addition.
we really turn it around. You know, Jeff was telling me that he says, I think you'll be okay at 95 to 98, you know, and
Really?
so sometimes we get after it a little hard, but it's usually around 93, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Man, that's good to hear. I mean, how long do you typically have? I know you pull maintenance obviously after every race. I know, I mean, I know you all have a routine, but barring anything big, what's your general routine as far as going through and freshening up the engine?
We did just like we did Alan Johnson motors that we run and the other stuff, and we'll get we probably push the rods a little bit further. We'll get 75 runs out of a set of rods, you know, and 50 runs is, you know, we're okay at it. You know, we'll pull the bearings and everything after each weekend, you know, and check them and replace them as needed, you know, just because the cranks are really hard to get, and we try to stay on top of it, you know. But
yeah, no, that's right. I was thinking it was something like that, and you surprised when you said you've pushed it to 75 before. I'm like, oh my gracious, you know. But like I said,
we pushed it to 75 because we didn't have any more rods.
Yeah, I figured that was the case. It was a lot of this, I'm sure. You know.
Yes, sir.
And but you run a Mickey 3-speed or turbo 2, or I call it turbo 200, but a 2-speed 400 from Mickey. Is that the kind of setup that you run?
No, sir. We run March transmissions and converters, and they're all turbo 400s. They're all 3 speeds.
Oh, okay.
We for some reason that I like cars, and we have a lot of them, and so all of our transmissions and all the cars, Mark Mickey builds for us, and they do a great job, and his guys are just phenomenal for servicing at the track and everything. And every one of them runs the same transmission. We have the same gear ratio in all of them, but one, I think, and 2 of them have the ability to leave in second gear, have a different valve body where they can leave in second gear. But most of the time we run them all as a 3-speed.
That makes it really easy and convenient for y'all when it comes to parts on them.
That was the plan. That was the plan.
Yeah, you said
it's kind of worked out. You know, we have some different gear ratios in the rear, but you know the transmissions are all pretty much the same.
I got you. Now tell us about. I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but the Camaro, the Pro Mod, you ran a Pro Charger setup on it, correct? Before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's
still Pro Charger. It's still Pro Charger.
It's still Pro Charger. Yes, sir.
Okay. I did not know if rule changes or anything, if you were planning on changing the combination in your Pro Mod.
Well, we're going to kind of say that right now this car is going to stay where it's at in a Pro Charger. I said this car.
Roger that. Gotcha.
So we
That's it.
have we
I'm not
have
gonna
we
have
we have something coming out pretty soon.
Okay.
Robert Collins wants to know: have you used a transmission cooler blanket?
Yes, we have. That he is a very very nice guy. He gave us some, and we've used them at the last race, and it's really impressive. It's really impressive. When he first showed them to us and came around and he said, Mark's got them down here, and he says you need to go talk to him, and he brought them up there, and we were like, okay, what is this gimmick? What is this? And but we dried them out over here after the end of the races, like he told us to, just hang them up, and they just flatten right on back out, and then you just put them in a cooler and soak them down with some water, and they drop the temperature in the transmissions real fast. It helps a lot. We use tranny coolers too, but it does speed the process up. And we're figuring that later in the rounds, it's going to help us turn the car around faster and all that stuff. So
Right.
But yeah, Robert has a real good product, and we're thankful that he come on and helped us and provided those for us.
That's really cool. So is it basically a blanket that goes over the case, transmission case? You pull the tunnel out, put it over the case kind of thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, we run open tunnels on these cars, so we don't even have to do that, but you just lay it in there on top of the transmission, and it just like a heat soak. And then when you get back, we'll take one with us to the car, to the other end of the track, and we'll throw it on there, and then when we get back, we'll take it off and hook the tran cooler up and swap it out and put another one on there. And it starts dropping the temperature real quick on it.
Oh.
Yeah, like you said, the deeper that you go in to eliminations, the quicker the turnaround is for you.
Yes.
It helps you knock down that temperature and keep a consistent temperature that you want it to be before y'all go back up to the staging lanes.
Yes, sir. We typically like to, we'll warm the car back up. We always say we want to be somewhere close around 100 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Right. Now, all your cars run methanol?
Yes, sir. Everything runs methanol.
So you just keep it simplified like that, which that makes sense.
We run, VP has come on board with us this year with Lyle driving and has helped us out, and they help us out with some fuel and everything. And it's been a blessing because it gets expensive with as many cars and as much as we go through in a weekend,
Oh gosh, I can't imagine trying to keep up with 2 to 3 cars, making laps as much as possible. Now, what's barring any difficulty? What's the average turnaround time that you can do with your cars? Once you get it back to the truck.
We can freshen it. We can get everything cooled down, turned around, go through the valves, put plugs in it, do all that stuff, get everything ready to go back. And if we were pushed, 45 minutes, but we usually have more time than that. We usually have more time than that. So it's pretty easy. The series is run good, and they give everybody ample time.
Right. Well, that's good to hear, because Mitchell and I, we've both been in seen situations where, it's late and pushing like crazy, to try to get the race done, get it through and stuff like that. And I know people in your situation, it takes a little longer, like you said, just to cool them down and do your general maintenance that you have to do. So that totally makes sense. Mitchell?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about, racing can't just be done on your own. I want to talk about all the marketing partners that you have that back y'all in the PDRA series, and even when y'all running Duck X Productions races. So
we have a few people that help us, and we're always looking for somebody else, and everybody that's racing is always looking for that big sponsor, but we're blessed to have the ones that we have, local company here that I buy all my nuts and bolts through, and Fasteners Plus, John and Michael, they help me out, and Stroud helps us out. They've always, we've run their stuff, and they've always been good to us, and they've helped us, and VP has helped us, and we have another company that that helps us, and my company, MIC Steel, as a sponsor on it. And we try to put little deals together. We got a local welding supply company that is coming on board to help us. And so we're just trying to find them everywhere we can, just like all the other racers do. But, it's a passion and something that we love, and we want to be successful. So I try to provide the best parts that we can get, and it gets expensive sometimes, but it's just, it,
That's putting it mildly.
yeah. Well, you're going to have the normal expense, but when I say it gets expensive sometimes, it's when you have part failures,
Right,
and that kind of
right.
stuff. If it's self-inflicted parts failure, that you missed a tune-up or you do something, then that's one thing, but,
Yeah.
It's a mechanical machine. And sometimes we have part failures that there's no rhyme or reason on why it broke. It was just a mechanical part. And
Right.
that's something that you can't avoid. And unfortunately, the Pro Chargers have that problem sometimes, and when it goes out, it hurts the motor, you're just part of it. And, we're blessed in the sport that we're in. We hurt the motor a lot. We had an issue with an electronic device that hurt the Pro Mod motor and in Orlando. And it followed us and followed us and followed us. And then we went to Bradenton and we thought we had it fixed. And then it was there in the first race of the Winter Series, and we hurt some parts there. And then we got racers like Scott Tidwell. Scott's a great friend and a very, very competitive racer, and we needed a head, and he had a spare head, and we got it from him and went on and finished the race, and we all work together, everybody there. There's no drag racing is such, like you said earlier, we'll give each other anything, but when you get up there to that line, you're ready to cut his head off. You're ready to do whatever, and he's ready to do the same thing.
Right. Yeah. It's part of it. You just both want it. You want to earn it clean. That's the whole thing. You just want to earn it clean. That's what I say. And I know Mitchell feels the same way, so we want everybody to get back up there and make a run. But
we will actually sit there and wait if there's, something going on in the other lane, because we don't want to single down the track,
No.
Yeah, it's a win, but we'd rather be competitive with somebody.
Yeah. It's like when we went down there for the second race of the series, and we made it all the way to the finals, and we had to run Ken. And, they kept coming back there. Okay, we're going to want y'all up there in 15 minutes, and everybody was like, and we were pitted beside each other, and we're like, we're not going until y'all ready. And they said, we're not going until you're ready. So we'll all pull out together. They're not going to run the race without us,
Right.
It's the final, they're not going to run the race without us.
Right. Yeah. Mitchell and I have said that to people we've raced against, they're, whatever happened, they got it, they're scrambling to get together, and we'll both, we've looked at my buddies too. And so I ain't going nowhere without you. So you don't have to worry about it. I ain't crossing that line. So when you're ready, we'll go. And, they, like you said, they've barked at us several times, hurry it up and all that kind of stuff. And, Tucker says, hello, Mr. Tommy.
That's my buddy. He is a great young man. But, just like what we was talking about there, just look at the World Cup final, the World Series final last year. It come down to Derek Ward and Jimmy Hensley. And Jimmy needed some time to work on his motor, and Derek give it to him, and then they get up there, and Derek has a problem with the starter in his car. And they go to Jimmy, and he's like, heck yeah, I'm going to give him the time, So they push back, And Derek gets, and Derek gets his car fixed, and then comes up there and just knocks it out of the park, just knocks it out of the park and wins the daggum thing, But that's what drag racing is about. There's no other sport like that,
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And it's the only sport that we talk to people is only two goes down, one comes back.
Yep.
Everybody else, you get multi-laps. Drag racing, you get one.
That's it.
and that's it. You take a swing and do what you can do.
And there's a lot of stuff that goes into that one swing, you know. And
Oh,
you know, you were
yes.
talking about sponsors and all that stuff. You know, I have to give it to Jeff Kaufman and the guys. You know, his dad Steve and his brother Mark and Nate that works there. They're a small company, you know, and they live in rural Ohio, out in the middle of a cornfield, basically. You know, and they're out there and they develop some of the best stuff, you know, in the Pontiac world, and they work day in and day out, and they develop stuff, you know, and they have a new Hemi head that they've developed for Pontiac, you know, and it's some pretty
Really?
cool stuff. It's some pretty cool stuff, and they've got a dragster that they've got it on, and they're developing it and doing R&D. You know, I felt like I was the guinea pig for this thing, you know, and I did a lot of R&D, and we tore up a lot of stuff, and we had motors passing each other going up back and forth to Ohio, and it's a passion for Pontiac people, and you know, my crew has been infected with it. You know, Lee White is an awesome tuner and just a great guy, you know, and he's come around. He kind of likes the old Pontiac. He said it's different, you know, so he's having to learn some different stuff, and we've heard it a couple of times, and he's worked on it, and he's like, you know, this got to be easier way of doing this, you know. So we figured some stuff out and kind of quit hurting it. And so we're trying to just keep tugging away at it, you know. But the guys that come along, I got, you know, Eddie Wilson and Will Harbin and Taylor Udigo and Chris Cantrell, you know, and we got a crazy Australian that helps us sometimes, Grant O'Rourke, you know, and we just, you know, we have a really good time, and, you know, it's just a family atmosphere. You know, they get to bring their kids, and they'll be their kids. Some of their kids will be there in Rockingham, and that's what's fun. You know, it's just go there and have fun and just meet all the family. And we stay at the track. You know, me and my wife Cheryl stay at the track because we enjoy hanging out and being there with all the people, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Well, you know, looking at the 2025 season that's fixing to take off with PDRA, who do you think is the toughest competition out there for you? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
You ain't put me on the spot because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's probably 22 to 25 of them, ever how many of them show up in Pro Boost. You know, and there it's that competitive. You know,
Right.
Melanie's there, you know, and Totoro is there, you know, and Kurt Stenning's there, Scott Lang, Derek Ward, you know, Preston Tanner. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on. You look at the qualifying sheets there, and you look at how close those fields are in Pro Boost there. And it's the same way in Pro Nitrous. You know, you look at what Tommy Franklin and Halsey and them guys are doing over there, you know, it's some incredibly close racing, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you something right now. Amber Franklin has impressed the crap out of me. If y'all didn't see that girl driving that in her first outing with a Pro Mod at the World Series of Pro Mod, that girl is impressive. She is and just as genuine of a family as you can think of. You know, they're awesome people. Tommy and Judy and them is just that was some incredible racing. You know,
She's definitely a natural at it. I mean, it runs through her blood. She's been around it all of her life. But yeah, she done a great job down there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I did say Amber Franklin. She's not a Franklin anymore. She's a Denton, right? Ain't that
Yes,
what her married name is now?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I just remember
And
Franklin.
you was talking about racing now. Her husband down there in the 10-5 race at the World Series of Pro Mod. Did y'all see that pass where he had that thing jacked up on the wheelie bars and broke the beam with the back tires? He was running against Lyle, and Lyle come back to the pits, man. He said, that was some cool crap. I was watching him. I'm like, at 200 miles an hour, you're watching him. He said, man, that was just cool, you know? And that's
But he
what
made
it's
sure he
about.
stayed at his side. I mean, but that was
Yeah.
Lizzie's old car, I think. That was Lizzie's
Correct.
car, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Boy, that was impressive.
Mhm.
Cannot believe. Not only, thank goodness it stayed straight. I couldn't believe he stayed in it as long as he did.
Yeah. But I
Yep.
mean, he made the pass he did on the back tires.
Yep.
You know, I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
that's pretty impressive. But 10-5 racing is really fun, and it's, you know, radial racing is fast. It's fast, but the 10-5 racing is fun to me too, and I enjoy all forms of it. You know, the PDRA Pro Street. You know, you got Ethan Stanning. You know, you got all those guys. Tim Essex, you know, you got those guys over there that are just running, and that field is incredibly tight too. PDRA produces some outstanding racing, outstanding racing.
Well, I think a lot of that results into the rules that they have for the classes.
Correct.
To me, they make it a whole lot easier for all these race teams to be able to race in their class and not have to spend a whole lot of money to be competitive.
To change their
Yeah.
program up.
Correct.
Right. And be competitive.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
they can come from other organizations with different setups and stuff. And like you said, to fit in the rules, hopefully be minor changes. And like you say, chance to be competitive, just rolling through the gate. Tell me something. How quick have you been with both cars?
In
Big Booty Judy. Big Booty Judy. Okay. And the Camaro. The Pro Boost.
The Pro Boost car, you know, has been we run a 60 with a 7 or a 9 at World Series.
Whew.
And yeah, you say, whoo, there were 8 cars that run a 60 in Westbrook's show. 8 cars that run a 60 flat.
Yeah.
60 flat. There were it was either 8 or 9 cars that run a 60, and there was 8 or 9 cars, it was vice versa, that run a 62. Okay? You think about that. How tight is that? That is
right.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It makes it a racer class. You have to be good on the tree to be able to win. If you cut a real great light, you're probably going on to the next round. The other person's going home.
Yep. And PDRA is that way. Every race is that way, you know. And Judy's, you know, she weighs, I say 3,000 pounds, but I mean, she weighs 29, I think 75 or something like that. And that's basically with no ballast in it, because we can't, you know, we got 5 pounds, we'll move around here and there. But and she's overweight in every class, you know. But the fastest it's been with the Pontiac motor this time since we fixed it has been a 392. And it went 80, it went a 88, I think, before. I think it went a 88 before. And but it was hurting itself every time.
Gotcha.
And when we had the Hemi in it back then, on 275s, it went 76, I think, 376.
You were acting like, oh, just, you know, 376. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, when I first started, you know, and Pro 275 was supposedly going to be a 40390 class race.
Right. We've talked to people, yeah.
and look where that went, you know.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, racers are racers, and we want to go fast, and we want to improve. Just like bracket racers, they want to get better, and you keep pushing the envelope, and you keep figuring out ways, and everybody works hard, and it improves competition. It breeds competition, you know, and
right.
That's what we all do it for, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what is it? And I can't say what is it, but is there something that you would like to see change in the organizations and the classes you run in, whether it be a weight break for an older body style or allowing a slightly different engine combination in? Is there anything that you would like to see improved upon?
You know, you're asking a racer that, and of course he's going to be
Right.
prejudiced to his own
Right.
formula, and what he's running,
Yep.
and the GTO is just heavy, and there's not a lot of parts out there for it, and they'll take weight off of us sometimes, and they've taken weight off of us, but we can't meet the minimum weight, and it's just because parts aren't available out there.
Right.
I met with Larry Jeffers and in Florida at the World Series. I had been talking to him, and he came by there, and we shipped him one of our old clips, and we shipped him the doors and another roof, and this thing has a stock steel roof on it. It has
Right.
stock quarter panels on it. It's got rockers are stock, and it's heavy. So we're going to try to lighten some of that stuff up. He says he can take some weight out of it. Um, we're looking at trying to do some other stuff. We're moving the turbos, and we're trying to do some stuff with that to make some of that stuff lighter. Sometimes to me, they try to make the class competitive by making combinations lighter instead of slowing the faster cars down. Because I
Right.
know in the radial series, you watched, as long as we've been doing it, I watched it kind of car count fall away in certain classes because you get to a point like Pro 275 is, where all the cars got to going faster and faster and faster, and the cars that were in there dropped down to LDR,
Right.
and now LDR has gotten faster and faster and faster. I think the LDR record, Greg Evans holds it. It's a 80 something, a mid 80s,
Yep. Yep.
and they're getting faster and faster, and that's just going to be the evolution of it. And then you'll have some of the cars that are in the back. Everybody wants to be competitive, and they'll drop down instead of putting some weight on the cars that are up front and slowing the
Right.
class down to bring it closer together. Taking weight off, in my opinion, isn't necessarily the right way to go all the time.
That
You
makes sense.
you have to do something to slow it down. Look at the turbo cars in Pro Mod.
Mhm.
They've reduced the size of the turbos to 88.
Right.
uh, and it hadn't really affected them. I think they can run just as fast as they want to. You know,
Right.
you you look at how many number one qualifiers Mark's had. He's been number one qualifier. Well, I don't know, 10, 12 times this past year.
Yeah. It was a lot. It
And
was a lot.
it's just and adding weight to that kind of car that's going that fast is not necessarily the safest thing to do.
Agreed. Agreed.
You
It's,
know,
they did that on shootout cars, factory shootout cars, adding weight, and now they're not necessarily adding weight; they're changing pulleys,
Mhm.
in that series. So I would agree with you. I mean, if you have a particular combination that's really out there stretching its legs good compared to others, take a look at that and at the combination, see what you can do to pull it back. Uh, I'm in agreement with you. I don't like the fact of starting to pile weight on cars,
Mm-mm.
especially it's unnecessarily. I mean, in your case, drop back turbo size. I don't know what else, what other factors that y'all have are limited other than weight and turbo size.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
You know,
Y'all don't have a displacement size limitation, do you?
no, sir. No, sir. There's just
Okay.
so many different combinations out there.
Right.
You almost have to have an engineering degree to look at the daggum rules to figure out where you're supposed to be. But it's there's so many different combinations out there, and I think John Sears and the guys that work on the rules, they've done a really good job. I mean, everything's pretty competitive, and
Very.
it goes in cycles, and we've all seen it. If you've been around long enough, you've seen it. And turbos were the way to go. And then they got to where the rules were against the turbos, and then the pro chargers come in, and then the
Right.
rules got against the pro chargers. And now everybody's going to a screw. And then the turbos are making a comeback now. And there's probably there as we speak, there's probably 3 or 4 guys out there building turbo pro mods right now. And it's
Right.
just it's just the evolution of drag racing. We
I
all
do have a
benefit
question.
from it.
Do you think, do you see a change by all the different sanction bodies now that run Pro Mod to try to bring it more together? Where, say, for instance, you're free a weekend and there's an NHRA race that you can actually do. You could take the car over the Pro Mod over there and run over there with NHRA. Do you see that they're trying to, the sanction bodies are trying to collaborate with each other to try to make it where they can get bigger fields by working with other organizations?
I see that happening with some of them. NHRA is its own entity, and they're going to do what NHRA wants to do, and it's intrigued me. I've thought about it. Scott's talked to me about it. Stan Shelton's talked to me about it, and we think about going. We thinking about doing a race or two just to see, but it's so dead blame expensive to convert everything to go over there and run their series, and that's the drawback to it. But we could go to Midwest and go run with Keith Haney and them, or we could go to some of the other local pro mod races and the outlaw stuff and PDRA pretty easily, I wish NHRA was closer to running the same thing, but I just don't know that part would ever happen. But I think in the other series, they're working toward that. And I think they realize that,
Well, I think one of the things that Wes Buck has done, with the World Series, the Pro Mod, and the Winter Series, and all of that, is he's brought in people from different organizations down there to race. And I think people need to start paying attention to that in NHRA and start making a decision. Hey, look how well this is going down there. Look how many Pro Mod cars they had trying to make a field, a 32 car field. It was like 80 plus.
Yeah. I mean, I think there were 83. I think there were 83 registered cars to enter, and I think he said only 80 or 81 actually showed up. But that's still
amazing.
That is phenomenal. Wes Buck and those guys, Mike Carpenter and those guys, everybody involved in that. Victor, I mean, give a shout out to Victor. That's an awesome facility. It has great room and everything, and they do a phenomenal job there, and that whole Winter Series thing has just been such a joy to do, and I'll go ahead and tell you, that was one of the main reasons I built a Pro Mod, was to be able to run that kind of racing. The NHRA stuff is okay, but that right there is just phenomenal drag racing. I don't care where you're at, what you're racing. That's some incredible drag racing. And Pro Mod racing nowadays, I think is just going through the roof. And I think PDRA is going to have an incredible group of cars there that's going to be there this year, and we're looking forward to it. And I just can't wait to see what's going to happen,
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, we had Mitchell and I had a friend, Michael Henry, fly in from the West Coast to the World Series of Pro. And he posted a picture. He says, "This is the only race I've ever been to where I've showed up to the track. I think he said like an hour and a half, 2 hours late, and they're still running. They haven't run all the cars yet in the first session of Pro Mod." And he wasn't talking about any misfortunes or anything like that. He was talking about just that many cars. And he said, everything I saw was just unbelievable. It was quality, was good racing. And he said, it's just unbelievable. So,
and the purse, I mean, it's an excellent purse. You really can't go nowhere else to win $100,000. Just the purse itself is just amazing. That draws these people in from all over. And having good sponsors behind it. Flow Racing done a wonderful job, bringing the coverage. Probably some of the best I've ever seen them ever do with Flow Racing.
Don and Courtney and them, they do an awesome job, you know, and it's I watch flow racing because I'm a racing guy, you know, and
Right.
if I'm sitting at the house, I'll flip over there and I like watching any form of motorsports, so I'll watch the midgets and all the other stuff that they have, you know, and it's some really good racing, but their drag racing is good, you know, and I think I saw that Donald signed something with them to do like
Yes,
the next
sir.
5 years of the radio
5 more
races,
years.
something like
Yep.
that, you know, this week. You know, so everybody's stepping up. Drag racing is a cool sport. It's a cool place to be, you know. People people turn out for it, you know. I just wish that we could get the spectators in the seats at some of these places, you know. PDRA, you know, is some of the best drag racing there is. And some races they struggle to get fans in the seats. And I think it's just because people had never been there and experienced PDRA racing to know how good it is. You know, I think once they come to an event, you know, the Martin, Michigan race usually has a big turnout, you know, and Galata have a big turnout, you know, and I may get in trouble for this, but Miss Judy, y'all don't scold me, but so we've been working and putting together. I'm a veteran, and I love my military, and I love the military people, you know, and so Tyler and the Franklins, they stepped up and they've never wanted to give away free tickets. So, but they're going to give away free tickets to the veterans and all the active duty service members that are serving at I can say Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, right? Fort Bragg now. It's Fort
Yes.
Bragg now,
Yeah.
not Fort
Yes.
Liberty.
Yes.
At Fort Bragg, and so they're giving away like I think it's 200 tickets or 400 tickets or something like that to all the active duty servicemen that are at Fort Liberty there to come out and see the races in Galat and in Bristol. You know, so y'all put the word out and let's support our veterans and get those guys out
Absolutely.
there and let them bring their families and enjoy the racing. You know, and once we create a fan, there'll be a fan for life.
True.
And you know, and they're gonna bring somebody else, you know, and if anybody is deserving of free tickets, it's our veterans.
I
You better
totally
believe
agree,
it.
100%. And we'll do everything we can to help put the word out about that. And thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, sir.
We're appreciative to all veterans. My family's all military veterans. Mitchell's is too, so we appreciate it. I tell you, how can people get a hold of you? Because I think the last time I looked at your site, it's wow, as it got a lot on it. So
Yeah. So we have a racing page and we've got some people that's helping ET Edits and Jack Swaddell and a few other people are helping us and help created a page, you know, and it's growing and it's amazing me. It took a little while for it to get started, you know, but it's Tommy Youmans Racing and you can find it through Lyle Barnett Racing, you know, and we share and post a lot of stuff on there. We have some pretty good videos and we share all the upcoming events and a lot of craziness and a lot of stuff that we do, you know. It's all good family stuff, you know. Lyle gets a
right,
little carried away, you know, in the car sometimes, you know, but he, you know, that's just a racer in him, you know,
right,
and
right.
he's pumped up, you know,
He-
and that's
He's very
we got it.
passionate.
Oh, he's extremely passionate. He's extremely passionate, you know, and
You
that's
you know we had somebody else on here, and I was talking about Lyle, and I says, you know what? I said if a wheelbarrow had a motor in it, I said he'll get it to victory lane.
yep. I tell
Yeah.
people all the time. I said I love racing. I don't care. You can paint numbers on turtles, and I'll watch them race. You know,
Yep.
but I love racing and it's just fun, you know. And you know, when we're at PDRA, I'll go up there to the start line and watch the juniors and just watch. It's amazing to me. You know, you get to see some of these young people out there, you know, that's racing and you get to watch them grow and see them come from that, you know. You think about it, you know, everybody knows that Erica come from it and all that stuff.
Mhm.
You may be looking at the next Erica Enders out there. You may
Yeah.
be looking, you know, at the next world champion out there and it's just an awesome sport to be able to witness this and to watch these kids grow up, you know, and see the sport evolve, you know.
And what's really amazing, watching what lights they have on the tree.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is very, very impressive. Make old man Mike me feel bad, you know.
I tell you this much, what I like watching with the junior families is usually the kids are usually calm and relaxed, and the parents, oh my goodness, man, they're ready to throw down on there. I'm like
You
going,
know,
woo, you know.
yeah, you know, sports parents are pretty bad. You know, they're pretty
Yeah,
bad. I don't care if it's baseball, soccer, basketball, drag racing, or whatever. You know, let's just
yeah.
hope and pray that the kids don't pick up on all that. You know,
Oh, I agree. Sometimes you just want to go out there and start hosing them down just to get them all to calm down. Let's start again. You okay?
yeah,
I tell you, I've seen them, Tommy, out there in Gainesville. You know, we got those drainage ponds all over the place. The kids, after they run, they're juniors, they go back to the pits and they go grab their rod and reel and they go out to them drainage ponds and they're fishing. You ought to see some of them, boy. They're running. They're on their little scooters. They're trying to get up there to the staging lanes as fast as they can because they're fixing to miss their opportunity of going down the track. It is hilarious because you see them also trying to be kids and also be competitors at the same time.
yeah, and it's so cool. It's so cool. You know, I wish we could get more sponsors and everything in the racing. You know, and help all these mom and pop teams out. You know, because it's a struggle for every one of us. It's a struggle for us. You know, and it's a struggle for them too. You know, and people go, oh, that's a junior dragster, but you know. Some of those things are expensive, you know, and these are families out there just putting their dad's hard earned money in it, you know,
Yep.
and they're doing it, and you know, $500 goes a long way to them, you know, and it's
Yes,
just,
it does.
you know,
Yes, it
it's
does.
just, I think we need to support all different forms of motorsports, you know.
We agree. We think we need to support all races, all tracks. I mean, even if you're not a racer, go support your local track. Go watch a test and tune. Go watch a Friday night, Saturday night, whatever it might be, or whatever series comes to that track.
Go to your local
Support
dirt
your
track.
local track.
Yep,
You know,
exactly. Because
and
without them, we're not going to be here, you know, and we're not going. If you don't have the races there and you don't have the facilities to do it, you know, it's gonna fall away, you know. But I,
Well,
I'm fortunate that I get to see all the young kids coming up, and you're out there, you see them, you know, and they're. I think the drag racing is fairly healthy, you know, and I think as far as the families and all that's in it, it's fairly healthy, you know. It needs some money behind it. It needs some sponsors and those people to help it and to help the tracks out, you know, because a lot of these track owners, they're spending tons of money. Everybody thinks they're making it and they're filthy rich off doing it, you know, but it takes a lot of money to put on an event, and
oh
it
yeah,
does.
it sure
you name
does.
it. Just the work, the maintenance, the insurance,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the payroll for personnel, you know, just paying the power bills, you know, to keep things on. People don't realize that stuff behind the scene. We've talked to several track operators and track owners, and they've shared some of that information with us. And I mean, it was eye opening.
Yeah.
You know, some of the stuff, you know. So I tell you, what track do you go test at? Do you have a little track do you have a track that you go test at, or is it just
We
go
we
to the
go to
race?
we go to different places, you know. There's a local track here close to my house, you know, that people used to call Macon or
Yeah,
Tweeds County,
Twiggs
and
County. Yeah,
it's got a new owner now. And I spoke to him over the phone, and I think we're going to try to do some testing down there, you know, and he's going to try to bring the track back, and he's making some improvements in it, and we're looking forward to going down there and doing some stuff with him. And you know, Raul Torres, you know, he bought South Georgia Motorsports Park,
yep,
and you know, it was, if you knew South Georgia, and it had a troubled past with the community, you know,
yep,
and
yep.
and you know, some of the people didn't like it, you know, but I think he's worked on it hard, and he's got with the cities and all that stuff, and I think their attitudes turned around, you know. We always try
Agreed.
to shop with the local people, you know, when we go to a race. We buy our groceries at the mom and pop stores. We try not to go to Walmart and stuff like that. We try to go to the local grocery stores and that kind of stuff and support them, you know. And I was in there at Probably the only place you ever see a Piggly Wiggly and Ace Hardware together is in Adel, Georgia.
Really?
So,
Really?
you walk in the door and it's got Ace Hardware and a Piggly Wiggly. You get anything you need, from a nut and a bolt to a ribeye steak. So,
I'm going up there tomorrow. I need to look that up.
yeah. So it's pretty cool, and I was in there the last race, and the lady said, you're a racer? And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, we really appreciate y'all and everything, and that's good to hear, that they're doing that, because used to they wouldn't say that stuff there in Adel,
Right.
Right.
And, so I think the attitude has changed there, and Raul has done a great thing with that, and I hope the fans go out and support him for the NHRA event that he's going to have coming up. I think that ought to be a blast,
Yep.
And,
it's going to be great. I think it's a good opportunity to bring people in that area and make them fans of drag racing. They'll get to see some nitro cars, pro stock motorcycles. Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for the track and also for the people in the area. And you never know where this may go. It may end up NHRA start having a national event there. We
and
don't
they
know.
need to, we were a long time Southern, going to commerce, and that was a big tradition here with a lot of people, and it hurt a lot of people's feelings, when NHRA did that, so maybe this is their way back into Georgia. Who knows? I hope it turns into it, because there's a lot of fans in Georgia for NHRA racing, and they supported that track, But
Well, I would definitely love it, because it's not that far from my house. It's only an hour and probably 45 minutes to get up there to South Georgia.
Fast. He drives really fast. So,
well, it's about 2 hours and 30 minutes for us,
Yeah, it's 2.5 for me. So yeah, we get it.
You just have to look out for them Georgia State troopers. That's all.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah, I've been here, and they've been out in full force too.
They have
this past week. I'm like, whoo. So you got to keep that in mind. But I tell you, we need everybody to go to Tommy Youmans Racing on Facebook. We need everybody to go on there and follow him, comment, like, share it. Okay. We also need anybody that wants to get involved in some of the baddest racing, heads up racing that could be, with some of the coolest, most beautiful cars. You need to reach out to Mr. Tommy here. I mean, he's got Mr. Excitement Lyle Barnett driving one of them, so that's really a plus. Then, of course, you're in your GTO, and you got the Mustang sitting. Who's driving the Mustang? Is it just kind of sitting there and waiting?
No, it's not waiting. Lyle's driving it too, and the Mustang has got a little history behind it, and the Mustang's name is Salvage Title.
Oh, that's it. That's the name of that one.
Yeah, its name is Salvage Title. Its name is Salvage Title, and so me and Salvage Title had a little accident, and so Manny wanted me to drive the car for him, and we worked out a deal, and I was going to drive the car, and we had a little accident, and I told Manny, I said, I'm not going to stick you. I'm going to fix the car, or I'll buy the car, and so we worked out a deal, and I bought the car. There was a guy, Manny, before he sold the car, he wanted a guy to come down and look at it, and he's a unnamed, very reputable chassis shop guy, and he comes down and he walks in my shop here, and he looks at the car, and he calls Manny on the phone, and he says, the car's junk. It ain't worth fixing. I wouldn't spend a dime on it. And I said, okay, and he walked on back out. And so I called Manny right then, and I said, look, just name your price, and I'll buy the car. I'll make you whole. I want to make you whole, Manny. And so I bought the car from Manny, and we fixed the car, and we put the motor in it, and we did a few other things that I wanted to do to the car, and we did it. And Steve Petty helped us. We took it straight to Proline and Fuel Tech up there, and we put it on the dyno and made about 3 pulls with it, and then he said, let's go test it. So we went to Middle Georgia down here, and we made, I think 3 full passes with Marcus driving the car, and the car was just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And Steve said, load it up and go win the race. And Alabama race was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went straight over there, and we didn't have a tuner. And I had talked to Eric Dillard, and he said, I got a guy that would probably fit y'all well. And he turned me on to Lee White. And Lee had never even seen the car, didn't know what color the car was or anything about the car. And he shows up in Alabama, and we get there, and we were quickest of every round of qualifying and quickest of every round of racing, and won the race. And as we were doing all that, we were joking and cutting up about, what we're gonna name the car, and we had rattled the car kind of hard on the dyno, and it started smoking a little bit, and we fired it up in the pits one time over there, and we almost thought they was going to call the fire department. It was smoking so bad, but we were scared to touch it because it was running so dad blame good.
Yeah, it worked.
And we was like, and then finally we broke down and put a rack in it, and some of them started saying, well, let's call it Old Smoky or something like that, and so I put it on Facebook out there and asked everybody, what would you call it, and Johnny Miller, Jamie Miller's son, he texted me back. He said, Mr. Tommy, he knew the history of the car. He said, call it Salvage Title. And it was like, boom, it stuck. and so that's kind of how it got its name, Salvage Title, so that's how,
I like that.
That's how it got the name Salvage Title. But it's
do your other cars have names?
Yeah,
But I got Big Booty Judy. I got that.
Mm-hmm. And the Camaro is called Clean Title, because Lee come up with that because he said it's a brand new car and it's super clean and it ain't been hurt, so we need to call it Clean Title, And I said, okay. He said that the Deckers had that same kind of theme, whatever they named their cars, that they had a same kind of theme with their naming of their cars, So we got Big Booty Judy, Fat Bottom Girl, whichever way you want to call her, and Salvage Title, and we got Clean Title, and then, there's another one coming out, and it's got a title to its last name. So
gotcha.
It'll be out really, really soon. We'll probably post some pictures of it toward the end of next week.
Okay, that's fair. Was Bama where you had your wreck with the Pontiac with the wall? Was that the same track?
Same track.
Okay, you were driving it then, were you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I was absolutely amazed then, and I'm still amazed now to that video. I'm glad you're okay.
I'm glad I'm okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, I'm here by the grace of God. God blessed me. He's blessed me throughout my life, and he saved me that day. And people ask me and say, "Were you nervous? Were you scared?" And all that. And I was like, "No, I wasn't," and I really wasn't. I was pretty hard-headed. I probably still am hard-headed, but I'm a racer, and the car had made some really good passes, and the car kept wheeling, and I had drove the car with it wheeling plenty of times,
Right.
But the problem with the turbo car is the further it goes down the track, the more boost it builds up, and it wheelied enough that it got into the wheelie control, and it dropped the nose. And when it dropped the nose, it bounced off the springs and it ramped all the power in at the same time. And it went straight up, And when it went straight up, I knew I was in trouble because, the car's vertical. And I reach up and I kill the power. And I said, Lord, please don't let me come down on this wall. And he was in control because I'm looking out the driver's side window, and the door blew off, and it landed, and it stopped in one piece, never rolled over, never flipped over or anything, And at that particular moment, I didn't even know I was hurt, I undid my harness. undid my harness, and I got out and stood up, and everybody got to me. And, you know, dumb racer, you know, first thing I want to know is the car. How bad's the car? And I walk around the car and look at the car, you know, and then
Right.
my back starts to hurting, you know, a little bit, you know, and my grandson's there, and my wife Cheryl was there. You know, she wasn't my wife then, you know, and they told me, said, you're going to the hospital, and I'm like, yeah, I am. I ain't arguing. I'm not arguing. And they brought the stretcher out there and got me, and we started going back, and I was like, man, this thing went a long ways, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it went a long ways out through there, you know. But you know, it's God had me at the right place at the right time, because where I landed at and where I was at was UAB Birmingham was right up the road, and they were like the top 2 or 3 in the nation for back surgery, spinal injuries, and all that stuff, you know. And they took me right on up there, and they got me fixed up, you know, and I'm just as good as I was then, you know, and I'm a little bit smarter, because I know that, you know, get out of it, let it go, and we can race again another day. You know, I don't have to drive it through all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, and it was an absolute blessing. That side of the track, you know, mud and grass and stuff like that. Missed the scoreboard, didn't go out far enough for the trees. And like you said, it came down. I mean, obviously, I know hard hit. I know that. But like you said, it didn't roll. It didn't tumble. It didn't stick like a dart. So, yeah, I mean, it's absolute blessing. And I, like everybody else, glad to hear get through that situation. And
it actually kind of reminded me of the wreck that happened at South Georgia. I want to say it was at Lights Out years ago with the red Mustang.
Yeah,
that came down, got air, and lifted up and over. But that he actually did hit the wall, I believe, a little bit with the rear quarter going over. But they looked pretty similar to one another. I can't remember who was driving the car.
I can't remember the fella's name, but you know what we're talking about, Tommy, because I know
there's been several cars, you know, Stevie, of course, you know, and then you know,
Mills,
one of our greatest lost competitors, you know, Tim Slavens. Tim Slavens did the same thing, you know, and those guys were pitted right there behind us, you know, and they thrashed on that car and tying them, and they worked on that car, and that car went back out and run in eliminations and went into the race after he did that. You know, Tim was an awesome competitor, great friend. He's dearly missed. You know, we've lost a lot of people, you know, in the racing sport, you know, that were just great people.
Absolutely. And we agree. That was a tough loss to the whole racing community. But I tell you what, Tommy, I tell you, I appreciate you taking the time of coming on and talking to us and sharing about your career, your cars, your page, which everybody has to go and support. Okay, we're asking everybody to do that. So what's the next race y'all are going to? You said this weekend or heading out Tuesday to Rockingham?
We head out Tuesday to Rockingham for the Battle of Thrones, which is the Radio Outlaw Series race that'll be there. And then we leave from there and go to Galat for the first PDRA race.
Okay. Your dance card's full, and all that in between, you still got to work, right?
Yes, sir. We still work every day, and I have some really good guys that work for me, you know, and good customers, you know, and if you ever need a large pre-engineered metal building or any kind of structural steel fabrication, erection, industrial services work, that's what we do, you know. And there's some good customers out there, and they know our race, you know, and it's pretty hard to hide it from them, but they know, and I've got good people that take care of them, you know, and we play musical cars in the trailer, you know, and we'll go to Rockingham with the radial stuff, the Mustang and the GTO, and then we'll leave there, and the GTO and the Pro Mod will go to Galat, you know.
Right.
Well, we definitely will be paying attention to what's going on up there in the next couple of weeks. with you and your team and everything. We wish y'all the best of luck. With the 2025 season kicking off at Galat. And I'm gonna tell you, if you live around Galat, you need to go watch this race. I mean, it is very competitive. You'll enjoy it. And I tell you, like Tommy said, if you go to the track, you're probably going to get hooked, and you want to continue going back, watching the events there, and also in Rockingham. And I tell you what, Rockingham, they've done a lot of changes over the past year. Mr. Van Horn and his other partner that's in at Rockingham, they're doing a lot of improvements there at that track.
Yes, sir. It was a great event there last year, and we're looking forward to going to it. We hope the weather's not going to be quite as cold as they're predicting, but I still think it'll be nice. It probably won't be as cold as it was in Bradenton, for the second race, but it'll be okay. We're racers, and we'll adapt and we'll figure it out, But I think everybody needs to come out and support the races. The PDRA race and the Radio Outlaw Series race are some of the best racing you'll see. Don Long and the Radio Outlaw Series bunch, that puts that on, Debbie and Bud and all the people, with Finish Line Consultants, they do a great job there, and all the people at PDRA, Tyler and the Franklins and all that stuff, that everybody involved in that, and if you really want to see some good pro mod racing, come out and support the PDRA. It's some phenomenal racing.
Well, I want to apologize to you and everybody's watching. This pollen has got my sinuses all screwed up over the past couple of days. And
you're not alone, Mitch. You're not alone, buddy.
It's been rough.
Yeah. You live in Georgia now, so it's snowing yellow right now,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm in North Florida. I'm in Jacksonville, so it's it's South Georgia, and boy, you're right. It's yellow everywhere. So, but it's part of it,
Well, I think the main thing was I took my youngest son down to Animal Kingdom on Monday, and I think being around all those plants that they have there, and they're all blooming, they're all from all different parts of the world, and I think it really got me all agitated. But what? The show still had to go on. So, and I tell you, I've had a great time talking with you. And like I said, we're looking forward to what happens this year, and especially with Lyle running a pro mod for you in the PDRA. I think it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, I hope so, and I really appreciate it, and just a shout out to everybody out there. Come out and support, and just see some phenomenal racing, and if you need some bead locks, get in touch with MacFab, Lyle. I think he's actually going to bring the rig over to Rockingham and be doing some wheels on site, so,
right.
Just try to support the community, and get out and show your support for the local tracks, and just go visit them and see it. And who knows, you may have a future racer right there in the backseat of your car,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I tell you what, them are some nice looking bead locks that they put on those wheels.
Oh yeah, it's they are nice to say the least.
Thank you, Robert.
But yeah. Oh, sorry, wrong Robert. But Tommy, we want you something else. If there's anything you would like to share with us in the future to promote, to get the word out, or anything like that, whether it be races, companies, new marketing partners, specials, please share with us. Let us know. We'll be more than happy to put it out there and do the best we can to help promote it.
I appreciate y'all and really enjoyed it. It's been fun.
It has been a lot of fun, sir. We appreciate it, buddy. You have a great racing year this year.
Thank you very much. Look forward to talking to y'all in the future.
Right. Will do. Thank you, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
I tell you what a great show. I tell you, Tommy, he explained it very well. The cars that they're competing with, especially that Pontiac GTO, just amazing. Pontiac power, and what it runs at what it weighs is just amazing.
It is very impressive, and the car is absolutely beautiful. But I really like how Tommy really explained and put in not so uncertain words there, but just how the racing community is so tight. And like I said, I mean, the first couple times you create friends, and after that you have families. It's like I got people there, and I know Mitch, you do too. That there's people there when we first started, and become acquainted with and stuff, and then become friends. And I mean, now we got a lot of buddies that if anybody's in need of something, you know what I mean, right. Family or friends or something like that, then you can reach out to them. If they can help, they will. And and that goes a long way. So. Like I said,
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the future of having Mr. Youmans back on, and
yes,
talking about maybe we can get him and Lyle both on about mid-season to talk about how the season's going on. And again, if you're in the area of a PDRA event, please go to the track, support it, and check it out. More than likely, you're going to love it, and you're going to want to continue going back for more.
Agree 100%, 100%. And we ask for everybody seriously to go to Tommy Youmans Racing on his Facebook page, follow it, like it, subscribe, everything like that, and follow him, support him, encourage him. Tommy Youmans Racing right there on Facebook. But also want to tell everybody, thank you for following us on Facebook, On the Spot Motorsports Media. We're continuing to grow gradually, and we ask you to go to the YouTube page, On the Spot Motorsports Media. Subscribe and follow there too. We're working on building that page up. Also, Spotify. This interview will be on Spotify in another week or two. That, and also the Instagram page. We ask you to continue to reach out there, subscribe, follow on all of them, because every little bit helps.
Yep. And don't forget this weekend to tune in with On the Spot Motorsports Media. We'll be coming live from Gainesville Raceway for the Scorpion Racing Products ET Series. So, also go over and visit Robert's page at Cool Racing Parts, transmission blankets. That's a really cool thing there to help you cool your transmission down, like Mr. Youmans was saying, as soon as they go off the track, they're wrapping that transmission up to go ahead and start getting it cooled off as they're towing it back to the to the pits to hook it up to the trans coolers and everything. So really good product. So go check out Robert Collins and Cool Racing Parts.
Absolutely. And we want to thank once again Scorpion Racing Products and Redline Synthetic Oils for coming on with On the Spot Motorsports Media this year, our marketing partners. And, like I said, we encourage you to go out and to support people that support us and support racers and tracks and everything. We thank you very much, everybody, for coming on here and joining us tonight. And Mitchell, we hope you feel better, buddy.
Yeah, I hope so too. I tell you what, it's been rough the past couple of days, and like I told you, a show must go on, and we were able to pull it off tonight. So again, I want to apologize to everybody having to drop out every once in a while, but it's been rough this year with the pollen for sure. Hopefully, I feel better for Saturday because I got to perform twice. Once getting everything set up for the live stream, and then also for the racing. So again, don't forget Saturday and Sunday, tune in to us. We'll be live from Gainesville Raceway. And to then, everyone take care.
Have a good night, everybody.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. you push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.